Hey, welcome back to Connecting with Code Day 2. I'm back here with my campers again. Campers, you want to quickly introduce yourselves? Maybe tell me your age again?
I'm Neela, I'm 6.
Howdy, Neela.
Bowen, 8.
Howdy, Bo.
I'm Keegan, I'm small, and 10.
McKinley, 11.
All right. So my campers are ready to go. Today's theme is a Harry Potter theme. Our family is a big bunch of Harry Potter fans. If you don't know Harry Potter, harass your grown-ups to teaching you more about Harry Potter. We're going to try to reinforce some of the skills that we learned yesterday. So just to kind of reiterate a couple of the things we learned yesterday. One thing is that we have a stage where our performance happens. Our actors are called sprites. Each sprite has codes. Like the shark had a whole bunch of code. The fish had a whole bunch of code. So we're going to do that again where we have different sprites with different code. We learned about sequential programming, how things kind of happen in order, and we learned about loops. So this forever loop would just go over and over again. We used a lot of different if statements yesterday. So if we had a down arrow, if the player score was 10, if you were touching the target, this person's target was apparently a watermelon, right? And so we've learned a lot about if statements, how that affects the flow of the code. We also used variables yesterday, which is kind of an advanced topic. It just kind of worked in for the day. I don't think we have any variables today, but with variables, you make them, and they keep kind of like the state of something. They're like, and they know stuff. We always would initialize them. We'd modify them at some point, so like change their value, and then we'd use them somewhere else in the code. We also learned about broadcasting messages yesterday. This is where like one person shouts something, it's like, hey, and then everybody else listens. And so we're going to be reusing those skills today in a Harry Potter themed game. Let's go ahead and start off with the solution. It's a 2-player game again. So I'm going to need Neela to come over and demonstrate with me. So the idea of this Harry Potter game is instead of being Harry Potter, instead of being Ron, you are going to be the Golden Snitch. Bowen, if you were the Golden Snitch, what would your goal be?
To stay away from Harry Potter.
To stay away from Harry Potter. So that's the goal of this game. So Neela, you're the Golden Snitch, and you're trying to stay away from the other people. And then just so it's not confusing, instead of having 2 golden snitches, I'm the quaffle. So I'm the one moving the quaffle around here. You notice that the quaffle is being chased. Yeah, the quaffle was the winner that time. Let's play again, Neela. The quaffle's being chased by Ron. And if either player catches a ball, then the other ball is the winner. So you can see how Ron's kind of chasing the quaffle around, and then Neela ran into the quaffle. Neela, you're so nice to let me win so much.
I'm not trying to let you win.
So this is the game that we're going to be making. Since you can see, all right, you can go back to your seat, babe. Since you can see we're using a bunch of custom images, what we're going to have you do is instead of like finding each of these images from the internet, we're going to give you some starting code to kind of start things off. There's a link to the starting code in the email. There's also a link on the website that you can go to. So check your email and find that starting code because you will need to click on something to get the starting code. When you click on that link, it should take you to a screen that looks roughly like this. So this is the Golden Snitch Chase starting code. It kind of got cut off there. And you'll probably see the page. It'll look like this for you. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to click on this button that says Remix. So go ahead and click on Remix. What that'll do is Remix makes a copy for you to use that starts with all the stuff that I gave you. Now it turns out the stuff that I gave you is I gave you 4 sprites. There's Ron and Harry and a Golden Snitch and a Quaffle, but you'll notice that there's no code at all, right? So that's your job, is to write the code. And so these are the 4 sprites that we've got. They're kind of already all set. And what you need to do is you need to change the name of this project to Golden Snitch Chase. So I just took off the word starting code or copy or anything like that, and I just called it Golden Snitch Chase. And so now we're going to dive in to actually writing the code. So pause the video until you've got your starting point all set up and it looks just like mine. And I'm going to let McKinley take us through the code again today. McKinley?
Hi, my name is McKinley Fisher, and I'm going to be leading you through the code today. So the first thing we need to do is we are going to work on moving the Golden Snitch, which we're going to move with the up, down, left, and right keys. To start, we're going to go to Events, and we're going to make sure that we have the golden snitch selected. We don't want to be putting this code on other sprites. So we're going to go to events and drag out when green flag to collect. This is how most programs start. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to motion, and we're going to give our snitch a set starting point. To do that, we're going to drag out this block here, go to X, go to Y, and it will already have the coordinates of the golden snitch inputted. We're going to drag it over. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have it point in a certain direction, so that way whenever you start the program, it will be pointing in a certain direction and not go random directions right into Ron and Harry. So we're going to point in direction 90. Okay, so we should have these 3 blocks out. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to control and drag out a forever loop. So now we have when green flag collect, go to X and Y, point direction 90, and forever loop. The next thing we're going to do is something we did similar to yesterday. We're going to take a lot of forever loops, well 4 actually, and we're going to move, have them whenever you're touching a key, we're going to move the golden snitch in that direction. So we're going to have our if-then statement here. Then we're going to jump down to sensing, and we're going to drag key spaced press. And again, you'll see that this box lights up with white whenever we're over it. We're going to drag it in, and we're going to change it to the up arrow. Now we're going to input the code that allows you to change the golden snitch's direction. So we're going to jump back up to motion, and we're going to take a very similar one as we had before. It's point in direction 90. So we're going to put that in our if statement. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click on this 90, and this little box will pop up. What we're going to do is we're going to drag this arrow and point it up to the top. It should read 0. So that way, whenever we press the up arrow, the golden snitch will turn up. The next thing we're going to do is repeat that. So, control, if then statement, key, down arrow pressed. This is going to be very similar to what we did. What we're going to do is we're going to take our point in direction, and since this is the down arrow, we're going to have it pointing down. So what we're going to do is point in direction 180. So we're dragging it, and then we have point in direction 180. Then we're going to do that again. So if statement, sensing, we're going to do key space pressed, and this time we're going to change it to the left arrow key. Then we're going to jump back up to motion. We're going to point in direction, this time it's going to be -90, and also it can be referred to as 270. So point in direction -90. If statement, again, and then sensing, we're going to have it change to the right arrow, jump back up to motion, and have it point in direction 90. So we're leaving that. If you need any time to catch up, just follow the code here. So if you need, pause the video until your code looks exactly like mine. Make sure that you have your point and directions correct. Now, my little sister, Neela, she accidentally deleted a sprite, and that's totally okay. In fact, Scratch has thought ahead for this and has a way to fix it. So if you accidentally delete your sprite, then what you can do is, there's edit up here. What you can do is click on it and hit restore sprite. And then it brings back your sprite and all your code exactly how it was. So it's totally okay to delete it by accident. Scratch has a quick fix to that. So the next thing we need to do is we need some way for it to move, because right now if you tested it, you would see that it would do nothing. So What we're going to do is this is okay on really anywhere in your forever loop. We're going to move 10 steps, but we're going to change that 10 to a 6 because that changes its speed. So at 6, it's a good speed for this game. So we're going to move 6 steps. Now you can test your sprite, and it should move around with your arrow keys. So you can move it around, and it should work fine. You may notice it kind of gets stuck if it's just kind of on the edge, if you just run right into it. What we're going to do to fix that is we're going to add a command. It's if on edge bounce. So it's this one down here, if on edge bounce, kind of set off by itself, and we're going to drag it and if on edge bounce. So now you should see that if you test it, it'll just bounce off against the wall. So the next thing we're going to do right now is we're going to work on moving the quaffle as well. So we should have our code here. Again, if you need to pause the video, feel free to do so. We're going to move 6 steps if on edge bounce. Then we're going to have all our key arrows, changing the quaffle's, the golden snitch's direction, and then changing the way it moves. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to the quaffle sprite. Now we have a blank canvas. So what we're going to do is very repetitive to what we did for the golden snitch. We're going to go to events. If one green flag clicked, here, let me zoom in a little. So when green flag clicked, we're going to go to motion and go to X and Y. So go to X and Y. Again, it already has those coordinates inputted. So just whenever your green flag clicked, it'll go to its position right there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have it point in direction 90, very similar to the snitch you may have noticed. Well, actually, we're going to have it move in negative 90. So that way, whenever we first start, they're not right on top of each other. So again, we're going to move this wheel to negative 90. Now, this code is almost identical to the golden snitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate it. We're going to jump over to the golden snitch, and we have our code here. And what we're going to do is we're going to separate this forever loop, and you can right click and duplicate and move it over to the quaffle. So that is definitely an option. Or what you can do is you can click on it and then do Command C and then Command V, and it's duplicated here. Or another thing you could do is you can drag it over. So what you can do is you can drag it from the quaffle, from the golden snitch over to the quaffle, and then the quaffle will have its own weighting. So there's just different ways to duplicate it, whichever you like better, it's your choice. Now the next thing we need to do is change the keys. So we're going to change the arrow keys to WASD. So up arrow is going to get changed to W, way down there. Let's see here, can I find it? Found it. W. Our down key is going to be changed to S. Our left arrow key is going to be changed to A, and our right arrow key is going to be changed to D. So again, we're changing that order to W, S, A, D, and so that will be the other player's set of keys to move the quaffle. The next thing we're going to do is going to get Harry and Ron trying to chase after these balls. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that you have all of this. Pause the video if necessary. We're going to test it, and then we're going to jump over to Harry's. So we're going to test this. So we have our quaffle working with our arrow keys, and then we should, our golden snitch working with our arrow keys, and then our quaffle working with our WASD. So they should both move and they should both work good. So that those two should be working fine. If not, check over your code, rewind the video, and make sure that you got it all figured out. So now we're going to jump over to Harry's sprite and we're going to get Harry moving. So we're on Harry Potter's profile now, and we're going to go to events, when green flag clicked, and then you may notice a pattern. We're going to go to motion and drag over, go to X and Y, and that's going to be our starting point. So, and then we're going to drag over a forever loop from control. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to jump back to motion, and we're going to start pointing towards the golden snitch. So we're going to be pointing towards the golden snitch, and then we're going to run this, and he's going to move one step to the golden snitch. So that way he's at a slow pace, that way the golden snitch can win the race and outpace him. And so that's what's going to happen. You can go ahead and test that. You can use your Harry should be like a zombie trying to get that golden snitch. Now you see, if you run right through him, nothing happens. But we're going to fix that in a minute. The next thing we're going to do is getting Ron moving. So what we're going to do is, it's almost exactly the same as Harry's, but since it's so short, we're just going to do it from scratch. So events, when green flag clicked, zoom in a little, motion, go to X and Y. We're going to get a forever loop. Then we're going to jump back to motion. And this time we're going to be pointing towards the quaffle. So Ron's going to be trying to chase after the quaffle. And then Ron's also going to move one step. So now you can test it, and both of the boys should be moving towards their separate balls. You can do this by testing the balls and seeing, like running circles around them to see if they move towards their according balls. And if they do, then your code is going good. So you followed the directions. Okay, the next thing we need to do is implement the caught code. So that way, if you're the ball and you get caught by one of the boys, something happens. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to Harry Potter's profile again. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a if statement and drag it in under this code that we already have in there. We're going to go to sensing, and we're going to drag over touching mouse pointer. So it's very top of sensing. And drag it in, drop it. And we're going to change mouse pointer to golden snitch. So if touching golden snitch, then what we're going to do is broadcast. So we're going to jump back to events, and we're going to broadcast message 1. So, but we're going to change message 1 to a new message. So we're going to do the drop down, and we're going to click new message. And what we're going to do is we're going to name this golden, gotta figure out how to spell golden snitch caught. So that's going to be our new message. We're going to click OK. So broadcast golden snitch caught. Then we're going to do a very similar thing for the quaffle. So I'm just going to take this code out and duplicate it as I showed you earlier. I prefer the just Command-C, Command-V method. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the golden snitch to quaffle. So if touching quaffle, then we're going to broadcast yet another new message. So quaffle caught. So, okay. And your code should look like this. our previous code, and then if you're touching the golden snitch, you broadcast a message. If touching the quaffle, you broadcast a message. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to, when I receive the golden snitch caught, I'm going to stop all. So we're going to change this all though to other scripts and Sprite. So this will stop like everyone except for me. So we're going to do the same thing for the quaffle as well. So when I receive quaffle caught, we'll stop all the other scripts and Sprite. So what you can do is you can duplicate it or just find those commands again. So when I receive quaffle caught, stop other scripts and Sprite. So you should have these two new things up here, and these two things down here, which we added. And now we're going to do the same thing to Ron. So,
hey, I just wanted to pop in and just clarify something. Somebody asked about the stop other scripts in the Sprite. And the other scripts, what is a script? A script is just a collection of code. So it actually turns out that this little chunk right here that's like all connected, that's a script. And so this command says stop other scripts in the Sprite. So it's going to stop this one over here. It's going to stop this one down here, which probably never started. But it stops everybody else. And so it's a little trick, and you're going to see how McKinley uses this pretty effectively to like stop the whole game. McKinley?
So now it's time to pop over to Ron's code and do the exact same thing. So we're gonna, you can duplicate, so just drag it outside, Command C, drag it back in, and Command V over in Ron's code. So we're gonna drag it under these two, and so it's just like Harry's, and so we're pointing towards the quaffle and Ron's, and then we're gonna have the same thing. If touching golden snitch, then broadcast golden snitch caught. If we're touching the quaffle, quaffle caught. And then the next thing we're going to do is when I receive these messages, then you're gonna stop other scripts and their sprites. So it's stop all, but we're gonna change that to stop other scripts and Sprite, Command C, Command V, and then we're going to change that to quaffle caught. So it's exactly like Harry's code. So we're touching the golden snitch, then broadcast golden snitch caught, and touching quaffle, broadcast quaffle caught, and then if you receive those messages, you stop the big chunk and this other chunk. And so now what we're going to do is what happens whenever this message is broadcasted to the balls. Okay, so what we're going to do is what happens when the balls receive this message. So what we're going to do is jump over to the golden snitch, and we're going to put in some more code. So events, when I receive golden snitch caught, then you're going to stop other scripts and Sprite. So again, stop all and then change that. And then what we're going to do is we are going to just leave it like that. And then what we're going to do is something different for whenever the quaffle is caught. So we're going to command Control C and Control V that. And then so when I receive the quaffle caught, we're stopping other scripts and Sprite. And what we're going to do is we are going to say that we won because the quaffle is caught and we're still alive out there and we haven't been caught. So we're going to say golden snitch wins. So gold snitch wins. And then what we're going to do is stop all. And then we're going to be doing a very similar thing for the quaffle, but first make sure that you have this, and if needed, pause the video, of course. So now what we're going to do is jump over to the quaffle and do almost the exact same thing. So what we're going to do is when I receive golden snitch caught, this is your win message, I guess, or your win announcement, because the golden snitch is caught and you're still free. So you're going to be stopping other scripts and sprites, and you're going to announcing your win. So say Quaffle. Let's see, I gotta figure out what Quaffle. Quaffle wins. So you win. So, and then for the final 2 lines of code, when I receive Quaffle caught, that's you. You just stop other scripts and sprite. But I lied, actually. I forgot one. So we're going to be putting a stop all at the end of say Quaffle wins. So now you should be able to test your game. Neely, you want to help me test? So, ready? So you're using the arrow keys, and we're going to test our game. So I'm the Quaffle. Yay! I win.
How?
I think there must be like a random pixel out there. So we're going to play again. I'm the Quaffle, and then ooh, you're baiting him. That random pixel. So we're going.
I wish I didn't have random pixels.
So feel free to test it and rewind the video if you find anything wrong. So that is the golden snitch chase. So.
All right, thanks, McKinley. By the way, a couple of our campers had problems following McKinley there at the end. I just kind of wanted to reiterate these just to make sure that we're all clear on them, and then we'll call it a day. So the Quaffle and the Snitch, these are the 2 bowls. They also listen for like when the other one gets caught. Now, to be honest, some people are like, why do I have to listen for myself being caught? You don't technically have to, but it's still good to stop other scripts. So essentially, the golden snitch wins when the Quaffle gets caught, right? So if the Quaffle's caught, I say golden snitch wins. And likewise, the reverse, the Quaffle wins when the golden snitch is caught. So just kind of make sure that code is right on the 2 balls. And then, of course, all the players have to do is the players just have to stop, right? So there's very little that they have to do. So, it's a neat game. It's a fun one to kind of play. I will say that there's a couple bugs in it here and there. There's like a few pixels on the golden snitch where he gets caught sometimes. Also, I've occasionally restarted a game. You want to play against me, Bill? Restarted a game and have it like start off and say that somebody wins like right off the go. I'll also mention that if you get really good, there you go, there's that bug where it started off the go. If you get really good, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to speed up the players. So you can see that they're running at about 1-1 right now, and that's actually kind of slow. And if you bump it up to like 3-3, it makes the game much harder. And then you can just see how fast the 2 people are and how fast they can play. All right, so we learned a lot of good things in this video. Sorry, Bo, kick you out. We could go around and we could see all of our different campers. We won't show them all. Neela, did you get yours working today?
Yeah.
Is it running good?
Yep.
Are you the best?
No. God, the best.
Bowen, did you get yours working?
Yes.
Keegan, did you get yours running?
Yeah.
How fast did you set your players to be?
1.1.
1.1, just a little bit faster.
3.
All right, so that was the goal for today. Hopefully you learned a lot about reiterating some of the skills we learned last time, broadcasting messages, and then one of the real take-homes is there's a lot of interesting ways you can combine code, even the same skills, in different ways to make cool programs. All right, it was fun. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.